guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Shrutika and today I am doing my first ever Q&A. So many of you have asked questions about my car, how I landed up buying Skoda, and what all did I experience and what is the average. So basically there are so many questions and I'm really overwhelmed by reading all the comments in the comment section below. Like, it's insane, the love, the amount of love that you guys have given me on my videos. Like, it's a new channel, and to see like almost we are reaching 20k views on my car delivery video is like, it is so good. I cannot thank you enough, guys. I really love you and I am so happy. I thought that I will do one Q&A only for you guys so that I don't have to like personally go and comment. I am doing personally commenting to each one of you as much as possible. But yeah, I thought that why not just do one video which answers everyone's questions. Sorry, that's my laptop in the background which is making some sound, and I'll just mute it. So let us go to the comment section and check what all questions do we have. So the most common question which I have is, what is the average of the car in city and in highway? So now that we have driven the car in city and highway both, because we have made a long road trip, so we do have answers for that question. So now to answer your question, in city, Skoda Rapid Rider gives around 12 to 13 average. If you are driving in city traffic with AC on all the time, bumper to bumper traffic, it's 12 to 13. If you are driving on a highway and full-time AC on, and I think it gives 14.5 is the average which Skoda gives. So it's a pretty good average. I believe, like, it's not like Maruti cars, but it is really good. Moving to the questions. Now, many of you have also told me that you guys are also planning to buy Skoda Rapid, be it Ambition or be it Rapid Rider Plus, now that the Rapid is discontinued, the model. So many people are asking me about the accessories, which the video which I have made on the modifications. So we'll just go one by one and I'll not make this haywire. Let's just take all the questions one by one. Let me scroll through your questions, guys. Okay. So first of all, thank you, because many of you have congratulated me on my new car and your love all through. I can see it in the comment section, and I cannot thank you enough, guys. So I'm reading all your comments. The comments are, congrats for buying the safest car available in Indian roads as on date. I know that it's debatable because many people are saying that the safest car is Tata Nexon and all of these things, but the ones who have driven Skoda knows about the experience, and it is unique. So ones who buy Skoda will fall in love with Skoda. So that is what I have read in the comments. Then one more comment we do have from Kunal Verma, that a very big thing, that's a very big thing, that when you take your parents for buying a car for your own money and the family is proud. Thank you so much, Kunal. Thank you for your love. Thank you for congratulating. Thank you for acknowledging. And then we have Prashant again saying congrats. Thank you so much. This is a great car with solid build quality, good driving mechanism. Skoda becomes beast, especially when you drive in highways. Yes, it does become beast when driving on highways, because I have experienced it. So for those of you who have not seen my road trip video, please go. I will also link it down in the description box below. Go to my channel and check out the road trip vlog. Okay, so swiftly moving on to the other comment. So many people have asked me this question, that whether I have taken the 8000 e-kit from the dealer. So e-kit is basically the essentials kit which the dealer provides everyone. It is included into the on-road price. It retails up to 7,999, which is 8,000, and that is totally optional, guys. Even I was not aware about it. Like, I researched a lot, and then I asked the dealer. First the dealer said that no, it's mandatory and you have to take that kit, and it is part of the on-road price and all of those things. Then I went to the other dealer. So always make sure whenever you are buying a car, go to multiple dealers and talk about the on-road price, the insurance that they are giving, what accessories they are providing. So it is better not to spend thousands on the accessories which the dealer provides and get it aftermarket if you're fine with it. But if you are sure that you can only get it from the dealer at a good rate, then go for it. But I would suggest that the dealer usually adds in a lot of price for the same thing. For example, the camera which I got from outside, it was just 2,500 or 3,000 bucks, but the dealer was giving it to me for 5,000-6,000. So there is a difference when you get it from the dealer. It's not always about the quality, because I don't think so it's about quality, because the dealer will see his own profit at some point in time. So if you're buying like Skoda company's accessories, the company provides the accessories, for example the alloy wheels. So I will tell you, there was a huge difference between the alloy wheels which the dealer was providing and the alloy wheels which I got aftermarket. The ones which I got aftermarket were retailing to 17,500. We bargained, so I just bargained for 500 bucks. But yeah, it was 18,000 and we bargained it and got it at 17,500. And those are pretty good. It's made in Indonesia. And many of you were asking me about the price, guys. It's in the description box of that video, of the modification video. So yeah, as I was telling, the dealer was giving me the alloy wheels for 80,000 rupees. Now many of you were asking me why you have not taken it from the dealer, or why have you not taken company's alloy, and it's good quality. I agree it would be good quality, but 80,000 for alloy wheels, which I can get at 17,000, 18,000 bucks, like I don't see any reason for me investing 80,000 in that. So that is the reason. So all of you who were asking me, this is your answer. That is why I did not go for the company provided alloy wheels. So they were providing me alloy wheels which are there in, I think, Superb or Octavia, but it was 80,000. And okay, moving on to the next. So many of you are saying that your warranty has voided. Even if you touch a single thing, your warranty will go in Skoda, and the dealers will create a fuss about it that you got it aftermarket. So guys, I have spoken to the dealer, and the dealer himself suggested me that go aftermarket and get your camera, the rear parking camera which I have installed. Go for it. And I also asked him, like, whether should I get it installed above the dashboard or should I get it installed in the IRVM, or how should I do it. So he only suggested me that go for IRVM and go for the rear view camera, like the rear parking camera, and it would be much cheaper, and the warranty would not void unless and until you touch any wiring. So if you cut any wire, your warranty is voided. For those of you who are asking that the warranty is voided, no, because I have done coupler to coupler connection. It is no wire cut whatsoever. It's coupler to coupler. And I have also mentioned this in my video, which was the modification video of the car. So that is your answer, guys. And I got it for really affordable price. Like, I think the total IRVM plus camera, I think I would have got it for 2,500 or 3,000. I have linked it down in the description box below of the modification video. So those of you who have not watched yet, so please go and watch that video. Okay, so moving on to the next questions. Thank you so much, guys. I see more congratulating comments. Thank you so much for that. And so Vihari Sasank has asked me, how is the maintenance cost of Rapid? Is it costly? So it might sound costly to you guys, because firstly I would like to clear this myth So other cars, if you take into consideration, their servicing cost, their maintenance cost is slightly inexpensive. That is because the servicing which happens is every year or after every certain period of kilometers that you have driven. In Skoda, there is a huge difference. You have to get it serviced either 15,000 kilometers, after 15,000 kilometers, or after 1 year. So I think 15,000 kilometers is a huge deal. Like, I think 8,000, 10,000 servicing cost for 15,000 kilometers driven car is a really good deal, and it is not expensive. So if you compare, if you've driven like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and every servicing you are giving 3,000, 4,000, it piles up to 8,000 eventually. Like, if you calculate, so it rounds up to that number. And for the first servicing, the labor cost is free. For those of you who wanted to know, I will also do a servicing video, my first servicing video. So that is after obviously 1 year or 15,000 kilometers. I am planning to get it done after 1 year, not wait up to 15,000 kilometers, at least for the first servicing. After that, I would see, I might get it done after 15,000 kilometers. So it is not very expensive. I agree that Skoda spare parts would be expensive, and that is for a reason. Like, everyone knows it's not Maruti, or it's not Hyundai, or it's not Honda. Even Hyundai is not very cheap. It is also slightly on the expensive side, but you would definitely get its spare part easily. But for Skoda Rapid, getting spare parts is little difficult and expensive. So that is a con which you have to live with if you have to get a good built car, because it's a German built car and it's really great. The build quality is really, really great, guys. So yeah, the next question is which model, like Rider or Rider Plus it is, and how is the engine noise inside the cabin? So first of all, it is Rapid Rider, not Rider Plus. I have not bought Rider Plus, and I will tell you the reason after this question. So the next part of the question is, how is the engine noise inside the cabin? Engine noise is not too much, guys, inside the cabin. Outside it might sound a little bit, like, I think it's okay. Like, it's not too much that you are hearing the engine sound inside the cabin. Inside the cabin it's quiet to a limit, and I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's not something which will irritate you, or yeah. So I think there is not much noise in the cabin. I have not heard it, at least. So, okay. Yeah, so I was going to talk about Rider and Rider Plus. So I have also made a video on Rider versus Rider Plus, and which one is the best value for money car, and I have voted for Rider. I know that it has discontinued, so apparently you have no other option other than going for Rider Plus. So the only difference which I found between these two cars was the infotainment system. Rider Plus had a touchscreen. Rider did not have a touchscreen, but it had a TODEM good system, infotainment system, which was connecting with Bluetooth. So you can play your YouTube videos, you can play YouTube songs, you can play your movie, like everything, but it will not be displayed because it's not a touchscreen. It's not a display, basically. It's a TODEM system. But I think that is fine for this price, and I would not have paid 50,000 for that, whereas I can get a good touchscreen infotainment at just 20 or 25,000, even less than that. But if you go for a good company, good quality, then you would get it as 20 to 25,000. Yeah, so that was about the infotainment system and why I did not go for Rider Plus. Although the dealers were very much behind buying Rider Plus rather than Rider, and they kept me waiting. Okay, so that brings me to the waiting period. The waiting period was 1.5 months approximately. I booked it on 1st June, or 1st July. I booked it on 1st July and I got it on 18th September. So you guys can calculate how many days. And yeah, I would have got it a little early had it not been the carbon steel color. So I booked carbon steel color, and I specifically wanted that color. the dealer were behind getting white color, either Rider in white color or getting Rider Plus, because Rider Plus just launched after by the way, I was the last in the Delhi region to get my car. Like, my car was the last car after the model had discontinued. So yeah, that was a fact which I just told you. And yeah, so they basically discontinued Rider because it was at a very aggressive price in the market. I was stubborn on the color. I would not change it for anything. I did not want a white car. That is my personal choice. White is also good for those of you who want. So white was easily available. I would have got it a little early. I would have got it on 15th August itself. The date was earlier, 14th or 15th August. But due to my color, the color which I wanted, I could not get it on that date. And the worst part, I will come to it after I read a few more comments. I'll just have to keep it in mind that I have to tell you guys about Skoda Finance. So I will tell you about that, but in a little bit. So stay tuned in the video. Okay, so moving on to the next comment. So many people have bought Skoda Rider. So everyone was telling me, I have also bought Skoda Rapid Rider in carbon steel color. I've bought it in the brown shade or all of these colors, white color. And I am congratulating each one of you who have bought this car and you have made a really good decision. Okay. The next question is regarding the seat height adjustment. I know that Rapid Rider or Rider Plus, now if you take Rider Plus into consideration, they do not have the front seat, the driver seat adjustment. But I don't personally feel any kind of like difficulty to gauge the distance. I also drove the car and I did not feel any discomfort while driving. I did not feel that there should have been any adjustment. And I am 5'3" or 5'4", so in between that. And I was pretty comfortable driving the car. I could gauge the distance properly. I could view both the sides. The visibility was very clear. So I think overall it's not an issue. So for those who were asking me that whether should we go for a higher model just to have that seat adjustment, no guys, you don't need that, because company is not fool to build such a car and not give adjustment, and it is really low or really high. It's not like that. It is at what it should be. The height is okay. So I know it's a minus point, like few of us might think that yeah, it should be there. I know it's a missing feature, but at this aggressive price point you would not get all of those features, guys. And I think it's fair to compromise at such a price, because even I have compromised. I also wanted like seat adjustment, I wanted sunroof, I wanted start stop button, I wanted all of those things. But at this price point, if you're getting a really good car and only 2-3 features are missing, I think it's okay to compromise, right? Ajmal has asked, number plate on delivery day itself in Delhi. Yeah, so what had happened is 2 days prior to my delivery, I had gone to the showroom to sign few documents, the bank usual formalities and everything. So during that formality itself, I had asked the dealer whether I could get the number plate easily on the delivery date, or do I have to like again go back and forth. So he was really good, and he told that he had already applied for it, and I got the number way before, and the number plate was also available on that day, fortunately. So I could get it on the delivery date. So you can talk to the dealer about all these things, and you can get it done as well. It's just about coordinating, guys. You have to communicate it with your dealer, and you have to be in touch regularly. Like I was so regular with the dealer that I was always on WhatsApp, on call. I was inquiring about like, is my car ready, everything done, like is there anything missing, don't tell me at the 11th hour that this is missing, that is missing, this document is required. That just creates a fuzz and it's very difficult. So get every documentation part done way before getting your delivery, so that on the delivery day you don't have to take that tension that I have to sign 10 documents, I have to do all of those things. Just go get your card delivered and that's it. So that is one tip. Okay, so Senthil Kumaran is saying, good decision, it's safest car, enjoy riding for miles and miles. Thank you so much. Okay, so Senthil also said, just upgrade headlight bulbs to Osram Night Breaker Laser or Philips Extreme Vision G-Force. I would love to, but I don't want to touch anything which involves wiring, because I don't want to touch the warranty. I don't want it to get voided. So that is the reason I did not get fog lamps. So for those of you who wanted to know about fog lamps, if you really need it, then go for it. I think you would get it for like 16 to 18,000 done, and I'm not sure about the price exactly, but yeah, you would get it done after market. That is not a problem, but the only problem is about the warranty. So it's better not to get it immediately unless and until you are driving somewhere where you extremely need it. Then you can get it done after market, but it would really hamper your warranty for sure. So I did not get it done because I thought that I don't need it right now. So that's why maybe after 1 year or 2 year I would think about it. So not right now. The next question is by Habib. What about total performance of Rapid Rider and any major issues found in Rider? Okay, so the total performance, the performance wise, the car is really good. The performance is good. It drives smoothly. When you rev it, you actually feel the power of turbo. Everything is good. But just one problem which I encountered while I was on the highway and we were on long drive, I observed this thing. At first my Bluetooth was working perfectly fine and we were playing songs and everything, but after that suddenly, I don't know what had happened, the sound stopped coming. So we were like, itne jaldi to kharab nahi hona chahiye tha, and it cannot happen. So we were sure that kharab nahi hua hai, only we don't know the functionality, we thought. Then we were really struggling hard to see what I am missing in the connection, because the Bluetooth connectivity was working fine, the video was playing on the phone, but we were not able to hear any sound. Then I also searched on Quora. You guys won't believe. I was on highway and I was researching why is it not working. I called the dealer, like, what is the problem? What is the issue with this? And on Quora I read many of you are dealing with this issue, that like your Bluetooth has stopped working. Like it's still working, the video plays in the background, but the sound does not come. And I tried resetting, but that did not work. So what had happened is I was trying a few options and suddenly it started working. So I'll tell you what I did. The major Bluetooth issue is if you stop the car, like if you have turned off the car, then what happens is your Bluetooth will save the memory of whichever connecting device it had previously. That is what the dealer told me. So for that, what you need to do is you just have to reset. If currently it's not working, if the sound is not coming but the video is playing, the connection is perfect, then you just have to reset it, and you can increase the volume button. There are several options. I think speed volume, and there was one more volume. I think it was aux volume, aux level. I know aux and Bluetooth are different things, but that worked for me. So set the aux level to medium. It might have been quiet. There are 3 options: quiet, medium and high. So it was on quiet when I saw, and as soon as I turned it to medium and then I started my vehicle again, so it started working for me. So that worked for me. Go to reset it and turn on the volume. Like if it is quiet, turn on to the medium or high as you want it. And then try switching off the car and switching on the car again. It works. So this had happened. This was one of the issues, not major issues, but yeah, it happened to me. Habib is also asking one more question. He is confused between Rider and Tata Nexon XMS. So Tata Nexon is also a really good car, guys. It is one of the safest cars we have in India. It is rated 5 in terms of safety, and I personally like the design of it. It was just out of budget for me, so I did not invest that much money into the car, in which I can get, like, at the same price I got Skoda Rapid, which is a really good car. I'm getting full size sedan in that. I know that it is SUV and sedan comparison we cannot do, like, it's a personal choice. If you want SUV, then you can go for SUV. If you want sedan, then you can go for sedan. But SUVs, I find it was a little expensive on the like, the price point was little expensive. I know that they were also providing features which Rapid was not providing, but overall I think if you see value for money, then I would vote Rapid Raider as value for money, because I got it at 8.45 for all of those who wanted to know. The on-road price, I got it on 8.45 lakhs to be precise. Exactly 8.45. So 8.45, and Nexon, the model which I was choosing or thinking to make a decision with, was 13. So 8.45 and 13 was a huge difference, and that too for a few features. I did not want to go for it. And personally, I really loved the look of the car, the one which I bought, Skoda Rapid Raider. I loved the color, I loved the build, I loved the design, even the interior and the exterior both. So I am very particular about interior as well, because most of the time we spend in the car, not outside the car. So I know exterior looks also matters, and that matters to me as well. So I will tell you a background story, just deviating from the question a little bit. But yeah, that brings me to how I made this decision of buying Skoda Rapid. So what had happened is, earlier I wanted to buy Venue, which is a compact size SUV, because I was under the budget, like 8 to 10 lakhs was my budget on road. And I did not want to go, like, I could have gone a little up from whatever range I had decided, but I did not want to unnecessarily invest and take loan and all of those stuffs. I did not want basically that. So I wanted under 8 to 10 lakhs. Now, under 8 lakhs, it's very difficult to find a good car. I don't know what had happened. महंगाई बढ़ गई है कि market में there are so many cars out there, but none of the good cars you will find under 8 lakhs. Like, it is very difficult. You might find one, but then you would have to compromise on either features or looks or company or brand, all of those things. So I wanted everything in lower price, which is not possible. So yeah, when I went to the Hyundai showroom, I saw Venue. Earlier I had seen it online. So seeing it physically and seeing it online makes a huge difference. Like, there was a very big difference when I saw it online, when I saw it in the showroom. So I did all of my research, like, I was doing it since 1 month. And when I went to the showroom, I was slightly disappointed, because Venue is a really good car. I am not talking about that it's not good. It is a very good car. It was my first choice. But when I was sitting inside, I was not feeling the vibe. It was very plain, very subtle. I like subtle. I don't want to go overboard. But the interior was not that appealing to me. I was not feeling it. And plus, the model which I chose was going up to 12 lakhs on road. So I was like, no, 12 lakhs is not happening. Then even Creta, it goes 11 plus, even if you take a base model. So then I gave up on SUV, I think, because either it was Creta or Venue, and both of them were out of my budget. And Venue, personally, I did not like the interior much, although it had that sunroof thing and everything. Basically all the features which I liked, it had everything. Then I was in the Hyundai showroom. I was slightly disappointed, and I was like, now which car to buy, because I was only relying on Venue, and I did not research about other cars. So then I looked around the showroom, and that time Aura had just launched, like a few months back or 1 month back. I don't remember clearly, but yeah. So first I saw i20. Then I was like, i20, the middle model, what is that name? It's Asta or sports model. So that was costing me around 9,20,000. Now 9,20,000 for a premium hatchback, I could have, but I personally did not want to buy a hatchback as my first car. My mind was very clear what I don't want, but what I want was not that clear. So I clearly did not want any hatchback. But then I also kept i20 as an option. It was a good car, it was a reliable car, like people are driving it from so long. So I was like, okay, but then the dealer told me that it's going to be discontinued and a facelift model will be coming soon by the end of this year or maybe early next year. So I was like, okay, I don't want, and I did not like, because the interior was outdated of i20. There were not many features. So earlier I was only and only very much focused on the interiors and the features. So I was not ready to compromise. But this should not be the case with you guys. Like, you should be ready to compromise if you are out in the market. So I was very stubborn and I did not want to compromise, but that was not good. And ultimately I landed up rejecting all the cars I saw. So i20 was rejected. Then I saw Aura. And Aura, in the first look, it impressed me. Like, literally impressed me. The looks were great. I know we have polarized views about the rare look of the car, but I personally find it very sporty, very funky, very youthful. And being a sedan, compact sedan, like it comes under 4 meter. So I liked the look and I liked the space. I liked the interior of the car. I liked the features of the car. It was under my budget. It was around 8.5 or something on road, and it was perfect. Like, everything was perfect about that car, like how I wanted. Exteriors were good, interiors were good, features were good, price was good. But it was under 4 meter, compact. I am fine with compact sedan. I did not have any problem. I was okay that I made my mind that okay, I will go for Aura. And I also chose the color in my mind. It was that toffee brown color which we have, or the copper color which is there in that car. So I was sure that yeah, this is going to be my color, this will be my car. And I started researching about that car, like what could go wrong. And side by side, I was also looking for other cars. Like, I was also looking for Ciaz, which was costing me around 10 lakhs on road. No, it was ex-showroom 10 lakhs, if I'm not wrong, about that, about the model which I wanted. So Ciaz was also out of the list. It was going above 10. And then we had, in the Nexa showroom, we had Baleno. So Baleno was also a very good premium hatchback. Everything was good. It was under my budget. Again, like same as Aura, under my budget, beautiful color, and all the features were there. Everything was perfect. But when I researched, I saw many YouTube videos, and most of you have commented about the build quality. The build quality of Baleno is not that great. Like, easily there will be scratches, easily you can get a dent, and it's not very good. So then I decided, no, it's my first car, and I did not want that my first car should have bad build quality. Not bad, I don't say that any car is bad. All the cars have their own pros and cons. So I personally did not wanted a car with not so good build quality, and that is the sole reason to reject that car. That is because of my personal choice, that I did not personally wanted a premium hatchback.